Is it comfy now? I think that's the first time you've ever made my beanbag comfy. It's February the 24th, I think, and I've started planting my seeds. Although technically I've already started because I planted a few back at the beginning of February. So I've got peas in this one, so that's all peas, there's 2 in each plug. This 12 set here is mixed onions, so there's red, white and brown. This side is spring onions, some Tigerella tomatoes, they're stripy, and I grew them last year. Then I've got some Roma tomatoes there, sort of a plum tomato. Mamand, I think it's called, it's a bigger one, and I can't remember what that one is. Ah, that's cucumber. So this is burpless cucumbers in this section here. Some goji berries and some golden berries. It is the 2nd of March, and this is how much my seeds have grown. These 2 are planted. Thanks, Lucky. These front 2, goji and golden berry, were planted at the beginning of February, and the golden berry hasn't sprouted, but there's 2 gojis. The back 2 were planted at the end of February, along with these spring onions also planted at the beginning of January. These are all peas. They started to sprout about 2 days after I planted them. And here, not much action, but we've got 1 spring onion coming out. We've got 1 tomato so far. This is 2 different types of tomato. We've got lots of cucumbers coming up as well. These ones are tomatoes. There's none of those sprouted yet, but the cucumbers are doing really well. I keep forgetting to film this, but I'm working on my garden planting out peas at the moment, and Ki's shade bathing because there's no sun at the moment. So here we've got 2 pea seeds in each little plug. They're absolutely tiny plugs, but they grow really well. So half the tray is now in the trough with some canes, an A-frame of canes and some netting, and now I'm planting another set of 2 in each plug of a different variety of peas that we've not tried before. So these are the peas that are in at the moment. I've just literally planted them out, hopefully they survive. I plant them in 2s because it gives them better chance of surviving the slugs and snails. And this one is yellow, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's a variety of peas that are yellow, but this one was in that first packet. Just 1 singular pea that's come out yellow. It's really pretty. What? You got something to say? Okay? You got something to say? What? What? What do you want? This is what my veg looks like at the moment. I don't know how long ago I planted some of this now, but I've just planted some kale, bulb onions, spring onions, lettuce and sweet peas. So those 2 ones there are sunflowers, and some beetroot. Then there's pumpkin. So these are the batch of peas that are left, and then I planted these a couple days ago and they're already sprouting. So that's the new batch of peas. Under here, got cucumbers, and then some, those little stalks in the middle are carrots. And then the other 3 trays are different peppers. So I've got corno de toro, long red peppers, some jalapenos, and a different type called Tropic Fire chili. So these are tomatoes, got the Roma, Tiger, these are cucumbers, and then Marmande tomatoes. These are the rest of them, so these are the ones that I planted out into bigger pots, so these are the ones that are left over from before, so these cucumbers and different, those 3 types of tomatoes. So we're going to be putting these sleepers along here and along there for a raised bed. And then all of this is going to the tip. And then this will look nice. I'm knackered already. Oh yeah. It's a lot this way to move.
Maybe I'll stand it up.
This lot is all going to be gone. I've got peas. Planted out a pumpkin. I don't know if it's going to survive. Hopefully it will. I've got some sweet peas. And some cucumbers and some beetroot, nasturtiums and onion selections. I don't know if any of this is going to like being outside in April, but hopefully it won't all just die off. Because this one's starting to flower and they're not really big enough yet. They need to keep growing, but they didn't have enough space in their pots, so they had to go out now. And these sticks are a preventative measure to stop cats from digging it all up and pooping in there until the plants are established enough to dissuade cats from pooping in there. Veggie update. It's been a while since I did one, so I don't actually know how long it's been since I last filmed this, but we've got runner beans. These really need to go out, but it's too cold outside at the moment for them. What are you moaning for? So I've got some cucumbers, they also need to go out, but it's also too cold for them. Some tomatoes, some nasturtiums, beetroot, spring onions and bulb onions. This is my biggest tomato. This is a sunflower. More beetroot. Pumpkin as a key. So I've already planted 2 pumpkins outside and both of them have died, so keeping this one inside, and I planted a new one in here to be a backup just in case. These tomatoes aren't very healthy because they really need bigger pots and I don't have any yet. And then I've got some more onions, bulb and spring. These are my biggest ones. I've got some more tomato seeds planted down here. I've got some kale, lettuce, peppers. These are chili tropical heat. More kale and more lettuce. That's tiny round carrots. More kale and onions and tomatoes. This is ginger, but it's not sprouting and I don't know if it's just died. Like here we've got some jalapeno chili. There's 2 there. Cosmos flowers. This is a goji berry. And it's actually growing, but it's really skinny. But I think because it's just warmed up, it's suddenly sprouted. And then there's some more carrots at the back there. There's another tomato. So you've got sweet peas at the back. Long red pepper. Some more kale. These are meant to be tomatoes, but they've not sprouted. Some nigella flowers. They should have been poppies, but they haven't sprouted. And this is a pink grass. Got strawberries from last year. Rhubarb. Black currants. My runner beans are going a bit crazy, so I'm planting them out hoping it's not too cold for them when they die off. I've got this trough and I've put some really tall canes in. I'm about to add a cane to the top. Loads of roots coming through. They'll continue to grow as they produce flowers and runner beans, so they need lots of space to grow up. Sorting my bench out and attaching a vise. I've got a new rotating vise. It's got grooved jaws, but I'm going to get some magnetic covers to go over there so that it doesn't damage my work. The coach screws that I'm using were a little bit too long, so I've had to clamp a piece of wood on there. The self-drilling coach screws, so they did well, but the piece of wood needs extra support because at the moment it's only got one thing holding it on, and actually Need to tighten that up a little bit. Pop a screw in there, down that end, just to hold that piece of wood. It really pulls on my wrist. It's not going anywhere. These are my peas. Got lots of pods coming out, but there's no actual peas inside them yet. This is the flower section. It's quite small at the moment. And this is the start of my veg patch. There's one leftover runner bean that didn't fit in my other patch. I've got onions, beetroot. These are the cucumbers. It's the newest one I planted out. These ones have suffered because of the weather, but we have a cucumber and it's growing. Nasturtium, lettuce. This is garlic, but it's not surviving here. Radishes. Oh, some more cucumber flowers. Sunflowers. This is my first courgette out. There's going to be another one there. And I've got some sweet corn. And this lot's going to go in front. So that's radishes, beetroot and onions. And these are potatoes. And that's a sweet potato. And these are my pumpkins, but this is the first one I planted out and it was dying. I planted this one out afterwards and it was doing okay, but now that one's dying and this one's okay. These are radishes. This is the potatoes. There's a few garlics in there as well. These are garlic. And then these are my runner beans. They're being eaten by the slugs. And this one's snapped, which is a bit sad. But hopefully they can get enough leaves higher up that the slugs can't get them and they can survive. Some more peas, but these ones aren't doing as well. This is a blueberry bush. It's not doing very well at all, but it's got some blueberries on it. With my cherry tree. It's got some cherries on the cherry tree. These are lettuces. This is the onion patch that Keith slapped that I mentioned in another video. He just poured it and knocked them all flying, so I had to re-dig them in. And I have a greenhouse. These are more onions and some carrots in there. In here, those are squashes, 2 squash down there. Those are actually grown by my sister Paige, and she gave them to me. So we've got 4 tomatoes in a trough there. There's 3 pots down there with tomatoes. There's 2 more tomatoes, another little one down there. I've got 3 in a grow bag. Got 2 in big pots in there. This one's the most established plant, quite big. 3 more tomatoes here. This up here is actually a grass. It's meant to be pink. I don't know when it's going to turn pink, but it's not currently. And then over here, I've got 2 more squash from my sister. This one's a melon. There's a tomato, and that's tomato. So that's a squash. That's a pumpkin that I grew. This is the other squash that I planted in a big pot. That was from my sister. This is what my workshop looks like now. I've got a proper heating station now. I was heating on this rubber, which is not ideal because that can melt. But this is heat resistant, so I've got a new bigger torch, so it's a bigger flame than this one, which is more precise. It's my buffing motor, it's my pickling station, so this cleans off the metal. I've got a magnetic tumbler for polishing, and then tools. Lots and lots of tools. So this is where I do most of my work. I've got my bench peg there and I've got an attachable bench peg there. This goes on here. This one is good. I use this most of the time. I've got a nice little notch there for sawing through. but sometimes my pieces are too long, so I need a surface where it's not going to dig into the bench. And this also clips in here, which is a jeweller's vice. So you hold the pieces in here, so this tightens here, and you can also rotate it that way and that way, so you can have it whichever way you need it to be. And it comes off so that it doesn't get you through how to lift up. It's very heavy, one-handed. That's my light, which is very handy having that coming right down over my piece. It turns on there. You've got 3 light settings, brightnesses and magnification. This is the vise I fitted, which you'll see earlier in the video, and I've got my magnetic rubber jaws so that they won't mar my silver. This is my pendant motor, basically like a dentist drill. You put different attachments in here so you can work on silver, and it's controlled via foot pedal down there. I've got a new stool, so this is height adjustable. I'm finally sitting at the correct height for soaring at my bench peg, because you want the piece to be kind of eye level. And then this can go a lot higher, so if I want to sit higher up I can. Basically, it's designed around an old tractor seat. It's amazingly comfortable. You don't expect it until you sit down and it's just moulded to your bum. It's pretty good. This is my drawers for tools. So I've got hammers and nuts and bolts and screws and things in there, and this is my vegetable seed drawer. It doesn't close very well because I've got so many seed packets in there. This is my planishing hammer. It's used for flattening metal, which I've actually made use of already, which is pretty cool. And then this is my newest tool. It's a rolling mill. It has rollers for flat metal, so you can flatten out metal, you can make it thinner. It's for recycling silver, so you melt your silver down and then you can roll it out flat. This is for square wire, and then there's round wire, and then there's D-shaped wire as well, which is a common shape for wedding rings. And I bought a cabinet for it as well, so I can store things in here. So I've got another tool area, which is pretty handy. But that is incredibly heavy. It weighs up to 100 kilos. It took 4 people and a hoist to get it up there using the girder and some rope, which is still hanging down. And this is my working area. I've got rubber mats down because long periods of time standing on concrete actually makes your feet really cold. So this is better. And also it makes it a bit easier if I drop things. I can find them more easily. Although there is a tiny sapphire down there somewhere, which I haven't been able to find. Indoor vegetable update. These are some lettuces and kale. I've got a pepper, which doesn't seem to be growing much, and this one's not growing at all. This has stayed this size for a couple months, I think, so I don't think that's doing anything. What do you want, Mona? Oh, so moany. These are broccoli. I'm trying to keep the kale and the broccoli separate because at this stage they look the same. This is nigella, which is a flower. Got some onions, bulb and spring onions. These 3 are parsnips, they're the only seeds that came out. And then some carrots. And then this is a tropical heat chili pepper. And then these are habanero chilies that, again, they're just not growing. Neither is that one. This is a tomato plant. Some radishes. Tropical heat. Some beetroot. It's a bigger kale from a previous sowing, same as that one. More radishes. Another tomato. More radishes. This is a melon, and there's some ginger. First time I've ever grown ginger. More nigella and kale. This is a fly trap that I bought to take care of the black fly. And this is my goji. It's huge. I did not expect it to get so big. That's a goji berry plant. It's just going straight up. I was expecting it to branch out, but it's not done that yet. And it needs support, otherwise it'll fall over. Oh, and over here I've planted some more runner beans and some sunflowers, 2 varieties of small bushy sunflowers that have multiple heads, and 2 varieties of runner beans because my first crop is being eaten by slugs and snails, so I need more. What are you doing, Mona? What do you want? What do you want? What? Why did you come out here moaning? Is it because I'm paying too much attention to my plants and not you? You need all the attention, don't you? Yeah, you're an attention hog. You're a very needy boy. You are. You're a very needy boy. Well, at least you admit it.